It's been a really long week in quarantine, but thankfully it's time for another episode of the Self-Isolation Station. It's a delicious green smoothie. If only somebody would teach you how to make it, which I might do on this week's episode. I'm Darren Brown, at Darren Fun Brown on the Twitter. You may know me from my podcast, Sound of Hockey. You may also know me from NHL2Seattle.com, where I work with John Barr and Andy Ide. It's been a real weird week in quarantine. To keep busy, I did learn how to make TikTok videos this week. I also had a very strange situation this week when I realized that I'd been wearing the same pair of pajama pants for 3 days straight and had actually worn those to bed every night and thought, wow, I really need to change my pants tomorrow. I don't think I've ever had that thought go through my head in my life, so that was an interesting little quarantine development. Also, since it's been such a weird topsy-turvy week, and I got some feedback that people who don't really like hockey still want to watch these videos mostly for tips for being legit, they don't really want to sit through the hockey talk, so I've decided to do tips for being legit earlier. So here it is, your tip for being legit. This week's tip for being legit is Legit Green Smoothie Making 101. So basically what you're looking at here are all the ingredients. The must-haves are the items that I will include in this video, and the things that you have to have when you make the smoothies. The optionals are things that I sometimes include just to give it a little bit more kick. You can make the green smoothie without the optionals. The more you put in, the more different flavors you have, and you can just experiment once you learn how to make the basics. You need spinach, kale, which I find disgusting, but in a smoothie it's pretty good. A whole lemon, sliced in half, not a half lemon, a banana, some various frozen fruits. I'm using mango chunks, pineapple chunks, and jackfruit, and some coconut water. This is a delicious breakfast. It's like a salad in a glass, but it actually tastes really good, which if you imagine just stuffing a salad in somewhere and trying to drink it, it probably wouldn't be good, but this is totally good. So I take the spinach, I stuff it into the NutriBullet blender bottle thing here. We go to about 50% full. Then we splash in some chopped kale. What we're looking for here is about 70-30 in terms of greens to fruit ratio. So now we break the banana and put it in there. We squeeze the whole lemon. I'm telling you, if you forget the lemon in your green smoothie, you will be very disappointed. It is what makes or breaks your green smoothie. We got that frozen fruit, so we're throwing in some jackfruit. I have no idea what jackfruit is, but we're throwing it in. Got some pineapple chunks, some mango chunks, and then we pour in the coconut water. I'm really just eyeballing. I try to get it to about a fifth of the way up the top of the cup. This time, like I said, we try to make it 70-30 greens to fruit, so I'm adding in a little bit more greens just because it looked a little bit too half and half-ish. Blend it into a beautiful green juice. If you find that it's a little too liquidy, you can add some more greens. If you find that it's too solid or it won't blend, then add some more coconut water. Delicious. If you haven't yet listened to this week's Sound of Hockey, we had Alexander True on the show. He scored the biggest goal in Seattle Thunderbirds history, so he has an important place in the hearts of Seattleites here. He also plays now for the San Jose Sharks, and he's our first guest that we've ever had coming to us from a country that is not in North America, so tune in for that. And just so you know, we have a monstrous guest coming up this next week, somebody who may or may not be related to the NHL Seattle franchise, and his name may rhyme with Schmicky Schmolschmeck. One thing that's been discussed lately in the hockey world is how hockey could start up again, and one of the things being bandied about is whether or not they could play in neutral sites with no fans. Now, one of the arenas that got mentioned was Ralph Engelstad Arena in North Dakota, because North Dakota, the state, has said, yes, we would welcome this and we would be happy to host NHL players. It could be interesting. I know that that's supposed to be an incredible arena. I just think it would be so strange to be watching hockey with no fans in the stands, especially playoff hockey, when so much of the atmosphere is what makes it interesting. Nonetheless, if you showed me any kind of hockey, fans or no, I would certainly tune in and I would be thrilled to see it. To close out this week's episode, I wanted to do another video version of everyone's favorite podcast segment, Goalie Gear Corner! This week's video version of Goalie Gear Corner is from Craig Anderson, the longtime veteran goaltender for the Ottawa Senators, who has revealed to In Goal magazine that he had a new pair of Bauer pads coming to him. What's interesting is that before this year, he had been with Brian's as his equipment supplier for many, many years. Turns out his contract didn't get renewed, so he decided to just try something new. He went with Bauer. What I find interesting about these particular pads, though, is that you've probably seen from watching NHL hockey that there's really only like 1 or 2 designs that Bauer puts out at a time. Apparently, this is the new setup that you're going to start seeing, and these are called the Bauer Ultrasonic pads. So be on the lookout for those. I know Bauer does a lot of stuff with custom graphics, so I do know that they're able to customize this look for goalies out there. When you see hockey return, I bet you'll see a lot of goalies wearing these pads. That wraps up episode 4 of the Self-Isolation Station. Make sure to subscribe down below. Hit the like button. Apparently that's what YouTubers say. Also, you can buy this beautiful Crap Weasels hockey shirt at nhltoseattle.com. Tell them Darren sent you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there, folks.